Probably live, right? Live. You don't see us in the room?
It takes a second. Not seeing it yet.
You gotta refresh.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe.
we're here. We're here. Okay, awesome, guys. Yeah, tonight we're coming at you for a kind of a special edition Fridays on the Edge. Uh, as you can see from your screen, you can't see our faces, but you can see our whiteboard. Nato's going to be whiteboarding today, talking about some sales tactics, essentially. Talking about how you can make a living by selling your own product or service, um, idea, basically starting your own business for yourself so you can work for yourself. Beautiful drawing, Nathan. Thank you.
Yes. Hi. It's waving. We're waving at you. It's Friday
It's Friday.
on the edge.
Wow, there's captions and everything. That's crazy.
Yeah, people can read what we're saying. They don't even have to. They don't even have to be listening. That's amazing. You can just read what we're saying.
Cool. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in tonight. NATO, introduce it a little bit. Tell us what we're talking about.
Okay, so excuse me while I clear my throat. While like make an excuse for coughing by calling it clearing my throat. So we're going to be talking about how you can make a living on your own. It's one of those things that can be complicated, but doesn't have to be complicated. And it's also one of those things that sometimes what makes it more complicated than not is it can be just sort of overwhelming and anxiety inducing when you have to start managing budgets and scaling budgets and that sort of a thing. So, one of the things that we are going to start getting into is we built the underground nexus ourselves. So let's say that you are someone who wanted to build your own technology, whether it's cloud, it doesn't really matter what it is, but we focus on cloud underground. We built our own cloud as a dojo. Dojo made cloud underground next. So if you are in the DevSecOps dojo and you go over to NATO's DevSec, there's a channel called NATO's DevSecOps Chaos. If you go all the way back up to the top of that channel, you can actually watch the entire journey of which we went through to build the underground nexus, all the way from like exactly how we created it to hey, once you start making like a cloud technology, cloud technologies aren't free. You have to already have had servers to be building on, whether you're paying for cloud servers or other things. It started with an approach of like build on your own bare metal or build on your own machines. So basically, build MVPs on your own machines. It's I used to get a lot of questions of why would I do this if I'm building cloud or building for the cloud. Well, to build for the cloud, that gets very expensive, and suddenly you have to start building a budget, managing a budget, understand transfers and things like that. And every little tiny thing you do not even understand yet costs you money to figure out. So if you want to do, building minimum viable products. Up in the cloud, that's very expensive. Teach folks to build on your own machines first, but then once you build something, if you want to actually use, you have to build budget. So this is going to be sort of like a boring business. I started doing like business lessons, so it's going to be a little bit like Free Coaching Friday was back in the day. But once you build a product, you have to build a budget, which most developers don't specialize in building budgets. That's when you have like oftentimes if you have a CTO, the CTO is not usually the one who's building budgets. The CTO is usually the one building an MVP, sure that the technologies are working, but someone has to be able to take whatever your machine is doing and then say, hey, we're living off of this, and we're somehow going to expect that maybe one day hundreds of people will like survive off of this company paying them. And that's kind of a complex thing to think about because we have a couple of routes that we can go. We can either get venture capital or raised funds, or we can kind of take the dojo way, which we follow more of a, what do you call it, like is the video working there?
Yeah.
There. Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Amazing. Okay. So, or you bootstrap.
Using it in the Discord server too. To remind people to come over to Facebook. Oh,
yeah. Now, bootstrapping is maybe like one of the most anxiety-inducing ways. So maybe we'll just call it anxiety funding. Because most people who've never done it before, it's very anxiety-inducing. There are reasons why a lot of people don't generally decide to go out of their way to go bootstrap. It's very anxiety-inducing. There are a lot of reasons why it's anxiety-inducing because let's say you're trying to build a budget and you're like, okay, I built a product and set up so that I can get customers in my app or hosting a website. Maybe you have an entire e-commerce website shop that you've been working on. And the thing about the Underground Nexus is you can actually build an entire e-commerce website in the Underground Nexus in MVP the whole thing on your own machine. So it could be on a Raspberry Pi, it could be done on a big server or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. Underground Nexus run on what do you have? Do you have something that's going to run Docker Desktop? If it runs Docker, then you can run the Underground Nexus and start building products where you're not paying, say, those hourly cloud bills, all that good stuff. So then when we do have to build a budget, we don't ideally want to have that many costs already when trying to figure out how to go to market. So you have to be able to afford to go to market to start getting services out there. So one of the number one things, and this is what we're going to focus on in the dojo, there are a lot of different ways that people can go about bootstrapping, things like that. But we're going to go with a good old trusty model that you see around, which is bootstrapping with consulting services And then also another means that we're going to be focusing on is bootstrapping. And we're going to let folks make large margins. So we're actually going to be a wholesaler so that people can just, you decide your margins. You can make your product as expensive or not expensive. The Underground Nexus is free. If you're trying to like come and make money from our services and you see how they work, you can then go and build your own product and your own margin. So like you're not getting locked into anything. Underground Nexus is free. You can go do whatever you want without us. But if you're trying to like learn and you want to follow our paths and models that we do and you want to learn how that works without just trying to do everything by yourself, that's kind of who this is for. For those who don't necessarily need that much guidance, the Underground Nexus is free. You can use it today. Anyone can use it. It scales on pretty much unlimitedly.
We're having connection issues.
Are we having connection issues? Oh. Well, if someone's around,
And Jermaine's around.
maybe let us know if it's working. But I gotta keep going because it doesn't matter. Because if it doesn't work, then we just lose a chunk of the recording.
Yeah, I think that's.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess if anyone is watching and like maybe send a message in Discord, and if people are saying that they're having issues, then maybe we'll wait for the connection to not be so bad. But anyways, the other thing we're going to be bootstrapping with is, let's see, talent recruiting services. Okay, so does this...
I think it's working out.
Is it working? Okay. Well, hopefully it's working. I guess I should look on my phone too. I have other things. Other devices. Oh, what is this thing trying to tell me? I just want to go to see if the video is working. It's impossible to get to the... Anyways, it looks like it's working on mine. Oh hey, to everyone who's dropping in. I don't have as many screens today. Oh gosh. So I don't have as many screens today, so it's a little harder to figure out what's going on in the chat. But Laura's following the chat, so we're good. All right, so we're going to continue doing this because this is basically how you can build a... And if you're building technology, you're making technology. The way that we're going to focus on doing this in the dojo is, hey, we built the cloud, are able to MVP and model for free. It doesn't cost us anything except for the systems that we have to have running. So I guess the connection's a little choppy. But yeah, so once the product's built, build a budget. So venture capital, there's a reason my companies raise like $2 million, $3 million. It's a normal amount of money to have to raise to build a scalable solution that's going to basically reach a mass market. Ultimately, if you're building a lot of these scalable technologies, if you're going for to reach an IPO or something like that, venture capital can be a path to IPO. We're not teaching that model. There are a lot of accelerators out there. If anyone does want to know how to get into that model, we can teach you how to get into one of those models, and we're more than happy to help you figure out how to get into things like an accelerator. But in the dojo directly, we will be focusing on bootstrapping. How do you bootstrap? Some of the easier ways to bootstrap, which is where we're going to be starting, is so we built a product that allows everyone to use it together. And so one of the things I want to encourage is all of you have kind of gotten to us build a product, so I want to encourage all of you to build your own services or solutions. And consulting is great for getting off the ground because you don't necessarily have to have a product or solution yet. You can be a consultant or specialist for a solution of your choosing. Generally speaking, it's best if you can work with the vendor directly. Just because then you can become, say, a master of that solution if you're someone who worked at the company with the people who make the tools and all that good stuff. So that's one of the reasons why we're okay, let's just go ahead and make our own cloud. Now we're going to make our own services where we are our own vendors. Underground Ops is going to be running the Cloud Underground services, and the Underground Ops consultants will then have an opportunity to make, generally speaking, probably as long as you work about 10 to 20 hours a week, you'll probably break, I would assume, 6 figures. And we're going to get into the math of how that works for someone who's consulting. Now, we then also have services. Now, recruiting services come in a few flavors where either you're helping consultants get service. So if you're either basically helping recruit clientele for consultants, or alternatively with recruiting services, you can make money helping enterprises recruit full-time hire talent, where every single basically person that you help someone get hired, you can make an amount of money based on how much that company makes money. So these are some paths that you generally see work really well in the tech sphere for just making money. And if you're not familiar with how to make money online on your own with your online cloud services, and if you are trying to be a managed service provider, we are being focused on basically, what is this role called? This is the life of someone who would be a professional services consultant. Whether you're being someone who is recruiting and selling services for folks, you're basically helping dispatch. So I guess the professional services consultant is the person who manages the consulting services. Here we go, that makes more sense. And then if you are someone who wants to make a living basically helping people get their services to the right people and helping enterprises get the right talent in the right places, all that good stuff, then that's dispatching for income, basically, where you just connect people and that's how you make money, versus consultants make their money spending time with people. So that's the difference between these, is either you can make money connecting with people, or you can make money connecting people like a dispatcher, or you can make money spending time with people where, if you're a professional services consultant, then you're going to be effectively spending your day setting up Underground Nexus implementations with customers, and mostly sitting down and figuring out what their questions are, and helping them figure out how can they accomplish the goals and ideas that they have, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. Maybe they're I don't actually know how to do, who knows what blah 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 is. But the consultant is there to be okay, well, the Underground Nexus is capable of these things, so let's talk about this for a little bit, and then as an underground Nexus consultant, then you help them get their underground Nexus set up and running, and then they get to go and build their solution. And then if they so happen to also need an individual hire to be hired, then basically whoever gets paid as well. So we have a bunch of different ways to get paid that we're coming up with, partly because we also just want to teach people how to make money. I'm going to put it this way. I have enough faith in my ability to teach other people how to make money that I do believe that we'll be able to make enough money to all survive and the dojo to grow so that it doesn't end, so that we'll all just grow together. So it's going to be very high margin, generally high ticket, and like our lowest ticket service for the most part is like $5,000. So we'll also be services to help us fund. So you'll notice that our way of fundraising is we are going to be building our own additional, tools and things and workshops and services, just also as an example to things that all of you can build. And whenever you see us releasing workshops and things like that, we are going to open up our app store for all of you to also be able to host apps and things that you make and services. So consulting services, you can have your own page with your own apps that people can buy from our app store, or people can buy app. It basically like a full marketplace for developers, cloud developers. And because the Underground Nexus is a collaborative development tool, it makes it a lot easier for other people to work with large groups of people, whether it's thousands of people, hundreds of people. So you really can sell the services or wherever you're entering them in, and that's your job. And then if you question it, you're like, well, why do we need this feature? And you're like, because that's what the customers need, and you need to do your job. And then oftentimes developers will pour their soul into a project and it gets launched out into the void. So then wonder if what they do even matters. And so if you don't know the other side of okay, so you made some code, how does that code now make money? You just never know the value of your skills if you're technical. And then even if you're not the one who knows how to sell the stuff, if you could work with someone closer to someone who's doing the selling, and this is what we want to do in the dojo, is bring people who sell close to people who dev, and make it a united culture for a change. Because right now the culture sits as the sales side is seen as the dark side, and then you have the developers, and you talk to developers, and it goes over to the sales side. It's like, you went over to the dark side, I see. And and it kind of comes down to why are the sales seen as the dark side? Partly because you're catapulting your stuff out to the void, and then you have salespeople claiming that this software that they made can do these things that the software actually can't do. And so if the developers are too far away from the sales process, then you get these outrageous claims. And I think it's interesting. I think about why is it that we can make these little Nexus Kinesis marketing things and talking about Nexus Kinesis. We're not the people who are trying to figure out what the product is. We made the product, so if I'm saying that it can do something, I actually know what the Nexus is capable of, and Laura's used the Nexus, and it's so easy even a CEO can use it.
That's right.
And so we actually, it's Laura's not a super hardcore cloud engineer, but even Laura can engineer a Raspberry Pi with all of the primary ports configured that it needs to have. She's set up VPNs and things. She's the one who set up our primary Pi hole that runs our primary network that has a hidden domain living inside of it, which is this part that I did. I put all the
Well, it all started because I was like, oh, I can block ads on our whole network with this. Amazing.
Amazing.
And so I built it right away, and then we learned that it can do so much more than that too.
so true. So that we want to the bring everyone together, bring the people together. We want the salespeople to be isolated from the security people and the developer people. We don't want, like, if you're doing some security, you should be able to talk to the rest of the company. If you're doing some sales, you should be able to talk to the rest of the company. You should all be able to talk to each other. So that's why we're over time we're building out a model that we're calling drop squads, which this is the precursor to drop squads, and this is how we're going to get there. Selling these things, you can kind of talk about the long-term vision as when we start talking about, like, how do you help people get Nexus services, and then how can you make a living helping people get Nexus services? And let's say that you just want to then stop selling Nexus services and sell your own service. Selling Nexus services, I see it as training wheels. You could forever. I see it more like college, where maybe some people just really like college, and there's some people who are academics, and you just stay part of the environment and become a bigger member in the dojo. Who knows? Or maybe, after you graduate, you're ready to go on your own. I don't know, for all I know, you make your own version of the Nexus. Why not? I mean, that's exactly the point, is that you can build something and then know how to take whatever you make. It doesn't even have to be the Nexus, but the point of the Nexus is we show how we made it, we show how we got there. Now we're showing this thing that we made to market as an example, but a live example, so that it gives other people a roadmap and a business model. So our goal is to bring people together with this idea of drop squads, which, what is drop squads? We are going to take 4 people where we basically have one person who is someone who is sort of like a people connector, so that's dispatch. Try to make a living in our overall total structure of things, and then the next one is so because it is a development tool, so that would be someone has to be a specialist who has an idea of what is it like to not just have some code, but how to make that code fulfill someone's goals. So someone who can basically translate code to working with human beings. And then finally that leads us to someone who is... Oh, I guess I could make it bigger.
Well, you can just put a space in there and then it'll bump it out onto a different line.
Oh.
The colors!
The colors! They must be perfect. Okay, anyway. So then we have someone who's got to be a security and recovery specialist. And then we do just need someone who just spends all their time on, like, code heavy. Just someone who's just code to the face. Someone who just really is a code person. And why does the dojo format work? Because, if you're trying to... So this to me, what is this? This is... So this is a DevSecOps team. That's basically what this is. And what's the secret sauce behind all of this? Because there's sauce, and it's not necessarily a secret, but it could be, but it's not, because we're putting it in a video, so the secret's gone now. So it's not even. It's just sauce.
The secret's out there.
So the drop sauce.
The drop sauce.
Drop sauce. It's not the secret sauce. Is that you have to have someone who can basically be that one who's really good with people and people presence. Because if you want to have like someone who's really good at code, they probably actually aren't even good at that. They might even make people angry. They might even be abrasive. I can be abrasive. So it just kind of comes down to a thing where having some understanding of, where might you fit to benefit a team. There's a special place for everyone, and if we maximize that, everyone can actually make better livings. And so we're like, why not just make a whole community where people can find people who kind of fill in those gaps? And so over time, we're going to build out entire drop squads. But to get there, we are starting off with consultants. And so if you want to be an underground ops consultant, that's an option. And then the other one is dispatch and or service sales. So that would be these two starting, because basically we can't really run the service without these. The harsh reality is that the people connector is probably the most important thing. So if we just don't have someone who's connecting people and connecting deals, then really nothing matters. And oftentimes, then the other problem you have is if someone's that people connector, they don't have time to be dealing with the code. It's almost just like too much. So really, if you want to have someone who's spending all their time with the code, so we're just starting with 1 and 2 right now. Down the road, when we get into building out like specialized services and really advanced things, we are going to be building out security things. We have a lot of security people around us all the time. One of our members on a W-2 basis is already working on building out security and recovery specialist services. That's what we're doing with Blumira. And also Randall's currently building out the amazing Randall SOC. But anyway, that service can be sold soon. But we don't really have any code-heavy projects at this time, and we're working on building project boards. So we're starting with the people who, those maybe if I color code the consultants to be the same here, it's the blue one. Maybe I'll arrange them to be the same as this other board just so that we can emphasize what this is. So let's just make this parallel here. So 1 and 2, dispatch connector. Sorry for going back and forth so much on this. I'm just also doing this for my own organizational purposes because I have to make documentation off of all of this. So if I confuse myself, I assume someone else is probably confused. So anyways, this to me makes a lot more sense. Dispatch, sales service, and consultants. There's no such thing as us having any consultants or successful consultants if we do not have this very specific dispatch sales service role situated and figured out now, as in today, like right away. So as of next week, I will be doing a lot of talk about how do people make a living, how do companies start to bootstrap, let's go, let's make some money, let's place some services, and then we'll talk about how people get paid soon. We are actively building it, so people are like, why aren't there everything we actually DIY in the most painful ways that we DIY everything. So if you're wondering why some documentation seems behind, we make videos partly because sometimes it's way too slow to get to market if you have to build everything It's like, okay, let's just get this video out. Let's get this series out. And then it's going to be for our people. It's going to be for the entire dojo. And then it'll be for the entire world because we'll release this out for everyone to just kind of see how do you make a living. And then they know who to come to where they can be like, okay, well, I want to learn these things. I want to learn how to help people build their services. Or if you want to be a consultant, that's not just consulting, but this is also engineering for that matter. If you're doing any of the development stuff, then we're kind of blocking that together with being code heavy. So if you do want to just then we're going to look for roles where you can just be code to the face as well. So anyway, be spending a lot of time trying to find those people who want to help recruit people, dispatch, help sell things and place some folks, bring people together. Thank you for those who have been interested. We're going to just do this out to the whole. When you're bootstrapping, time is limited, so we're doing it the bootstrapping way, which is we can't have a unique meeting with everyone. So then that's the meeting to 1,000 people. So there we go. We're teaching everyone. Begins. Today's Facebook group, and then we'll release this video out to the greater world.
Yes.
On all of our channels, and then starting next week is open season, and we are actively writing forms right now. So as we slowly write and document, because we DIY everything, expect to see application forms, detail form updates. Expect to see Nexus updates all the time. Expect to see a whole lot of chaos. Expect to see chaos. But that's how you get a business off the ground. And that's how we're going to do this. So I look in the chat and see if anyone has any final questions. Very nice. I think my video is very behind. What's yours?
I don't see any questions, but thanks everyone again for being here, for watching.
Amazing.
Yeah.
People. And we appreciate all of you. Okay. Oh, I forgot that we're not even on. It's so weird not being on camera, but it's kind of nice because we can just sit here and just like educate some folks.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about if my hair is falling off of my head.
I was even ready to like be
wig.
on camera, so this was even a surprise for me. I was ready. People see my face.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway, any other thoughts? Call it a night here.
I think that's the beginning of everything. And do you have any questions?
I don't think so. I think I'm just excited for next week, and as you say, open season. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to see, who shows up and what people do. So
yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
that's right.
So anyways, thank you everyone who joined. Oh wow, it looks like it's doing some crazy stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, either way, it's time to end this.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you all. And we're gonna go make a
Hopefully it
living.
wasn't terrible. Hopefully the stream didn't drop out like continually the whole time.
Yeah, and we'll talk about these same themes as we go. and we're gonna just slowly roll out this company, slowly monetize, slowly make a living with everybody. And oh, I guess I did want to. Oh, last thing, I gotta talk about the magic tricks. Not the magic tricks, but the Nexus Kinesis. Be prepared for the Nexus.
We have a whole video about this too. I can drop a link into the chat.
Yeah, drop the link into the chat.
If you don't want to go too long on it, we can just drop a link. You guys
This is
can
the
check it
last
out.
thing. I just have to put in the names. We have Jordan's print pipeline. So get ready to watch Jordan as he builds his print pipeline. We'll have frequent updates, and then we have Randall's simply amazing sock, where he's building a sim which is already securing data and doing amazing things and streaming 24/7 on the radio stream. We have Ken's pay what you can cyber security. What do we call it? Cyber, get into
The Cyber Life School.
There we go.
Cyber Life School.
All right, here we go. Pay what you can, Cyber Life School. And then we have Xavier's talent gap destroying belt system in Dojo. And I'm sorry, we're running out of colors. Jermaine's GitLab Runner Mind Tricks. And then we have
You're so good at this.
Antonette's website migration madness. This is all happening, and it's going to be all over LinkedIn. So anyways, I'm going to be doing play-by-plays as everyone gets their Nexus projects built, just kind of showing off the amazing variety of things that you can do with the Underground Nexus. You can do so many things. You can build a printer pipeline, you can build security tools and socks.
Mesh.
Mesh. You can use it for basically lab infrastructure and hosting for education, and educate pretty much unlimited people as long as you can get them something at least Raspberry Pi. They can pretty much just do whatever lab you want for free. You can. And then Jermaine, he can move planets with his mind with GitLab runners just by thinking about the code. Xavier is going to destroy the talent gap with our new belt system to migrate an entire website into the Underground Nexus to create a truly portable website where the choice of hosting becomes yours. You can put it where you want. And if you decide you don't like that, website hosting, it's really easy to just be like, I'm gonna just take my Nexus website and put it somewhere else, whatever I want to do with it. Or you can scale it however you want, or add all kinds of things into it because it has a really advanced API system. So that is the sauce. That is the sauce. Should we stop sharing and see if it